call the work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia, Monday, October 13th to order. Make sure my volume is off.
Good idea, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Everyone is present. Nice to see everyone. First, we'll go through the regular business meeting. I think Tony is going to stand in and do our prayer committee. Pledge, anyone? Norman? Then we'll have the minutes for September 22nd. We have 2 invited guests tonight. We've got a representative from Gwinnett County Public Schools, and then we have Ann Mills with Overcomers House, just to give a short presentation on what they do for the community. Just 2 things under new business, real estate purchase, which we'll discuss in exec session. And then we have an update on the ADA transition plan. Matt, you want to let them know?
So that is just Melissa Mercy was one of the department directors, worked really hard on this. This is a requirement from George DOT that we confirm that we are allowing we're meeting proper requirements for ADA accessibility in all of our buildings here. So we have to inspect those. All of our buildings submit a report to the state that we are in compliance with current ADA law.
Did you say it was Georgia DOT?
Yes, interestingly enough, yes.
We all thought that was
I know, it
strange.
seems strange.
Yeah.
It's very, it used to be, I think DCA, they changed it to be the first administration.
So this is just approval of that, and then we'll send it off to the state and be in compliance with the requirement.
Okay. And if anybody read all the report, I mean, we came out pretty well with the inspection, so a couple really minor things. And that will be it for the regular meeting. Any questions on that? All right, so any correspondence? I don't have anything. City attorney's report?
Calls peaceful.
And so we'll move to discussion items, ongoing project update.
Okay. So if you refer to your city projects update document, we'll run through a few things here. Quick can, they have 5 of their vendors are under construction, which is good, various stages of construction. The sixth vendor is the butcher / barbecue shop. They just picked up their permits on Friday, so they'll be starting their build out there. They're targeting late October for a soft opening, and then maybe sometime in November for more of their restaurants to be open, to get folks going. So, well, when you guys get a chance, you should go walk in there and take a look. I mean, it's pretty cool what folks are doing in there. The place is pretty far along. They've got their counters in and some other stuff, so it's moving.
Is something that's open?
Not that I know of.
We keep hearing it's close.
I ate at the one in Buford the other day, and I will be there all winter.
That
Once
good.
it opens, it was so good. Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll give you a booth and you just say, give me the info.
Do you know who I am?
We go with my name.
They're gonna call you Dumpling Girl.
Wouldn't be the first time.
And then Taqueria is moving along. I mean, if you look in the windows, they've got their POS system and a point of sale system and cashier, that sort of thing. That's a big step
Yeah.
when you start to see that stuff coming up. So, we wouldn't be surprised in the next 2 or 3 weeks if you start to see activity. We're trying to get a hold of them so we can just help them with ribbon cutting, promote, and that sort of thing. And we just have had a hard time getting in touch with those folks over there. But they're moving. Parkside is moving.
Oh, wow.
They
Yay.
got some flooring and some other stuff, so they're moving too, which is good. We've just got, the other thing I'll tell you, this Thursday at 6, we have Downtown Tunes at the Grove. Mercy, do you know who's performing in that one? I don't-
The happy hour, so it'll be a three-piece band. They have a good repertoire, I think performing the region pretty regularly. So we're excited to go out with bang.
Good
So
deal.
last month we had, or like 3 weeks back, we had the saxophonist and the instruments band, so. Looking forward to that, and then the following week, we'll have our trick or treat event at the Grove. We'll have a trick or treating and outdoor movie together there. So a couple of things coming up on that radar. Under the city business cleanup extrication, so the staff has been working on, sort of recommendations for, changes in the sanitation program as we run it now. I think it'd be good for all of us to really for staff to go over our recommendations with you all before we issue the RFP, so we're all on the same page as to what we should expect when proposals come in.
On the timing for that, when does the RFP need to go out?
Good question. I mean, I think it could probably go out January at this
Okay.
point.
Because what my thought is, we need to wait till after the election so that our new council members
I
are
agree.
here.
Yeah.
And then,
So we're reaching a weird window where when you get to, really when you get to Thanksgiving, from Thanksgiving to New Year's, it's a hard.
yeah, but we're gonna have to have a couple of work sessions, I think, in that time frame. I was gonna go ahead and look at the calendar and talk with you about getting something scheduled, and we could put that out to council now, make sure everybody here is good, and then just let the candidates know, pencil these dates in, ahead of time.
That's what I want to do tonight, so,
Okay.
yeah, is throw up our calendar and try to get a few days, so we've got
Oh my gosh.
something to
Oh,
write
am I
out.
like in your head?
No,
It's like in your thoughts?
No, no.
Oh, that's scary.
9 to 10 is my.
Hey, Gretchen and Christie, get your calendars open.
I'm free after November 11th.
Because it's hard to schedule stuff over email, and we all, we can kind of talk about it. And if, may have been there, if there are other things we want to talk about as part of a special call work session, we can certainly do that. We were thinking we would just need one, but if there are some
I
others
want
that you would like
another one, yeah.
topics to go over, we certainly should discuss that now while we're all together here. But, so we have, obviously tonight's meeting.
So Christie and Gretchen, you can leave if you want for a minute.
Forever.
No, forever, no.
Set a date for the work session.
They're trying to already get us out the door.
Or do we want to wait till after the election?
So we kind of have a tentative date for the retreat, just to have a date with GMA, so we can reserve their space. But that's probably something better to talk about once we get through the election. We've got new folks on, and we've got new schedules. And trying to-
I
Well,
will,
that date's a little more fixed with GMA. It's not like we have an option of 3 dates.
No, we don't. But I'm saying if depending on how we want to do it, if there's a different method we want to use or a different format we want to use. But we've penciled in at least GMA to do what we've done in the last couple of years down at their headquarters, spending a day together. That's in place.
Do you remember what date that was?
I want to say the first week in February, first Saturday in February.
I believe it's
The
February
third.
7th.
Yeah, that's the first week of February.
But we confirm that.
you don't want to do it on Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day.
The next week? As long as we're not doing it in the AM, my calendar is as flexible as you need it to be.
Okay.
So don't worry about me, I'll be there.
I like that positivity.
So in between
I'm
now,
positive I'm gonna be there.
Well, we need something after election.
so I mean, you could look at the 10th. Sorry, the 10th is an actual council meeting. You could do the 17th, or get double up the week of the 10th. And the 17th.
Do Tuesday night the 18th. Does anybody have an issue with Tuesday night?
November?
October.
Not since
you talking
that
about
day's
November?
gone off.
You talking about November?
Mm-hmm. That'd be the week before Thanksgiving. So we could do like 17th, 18th, or 19th. Or will you be ready for the trash one then?
Oh, yeah,
Or-
yeah, I mean, we could be ready now to give it to you, but we'd rather have dedicated time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to go over it. But we can certainly write recommendations and review all of that, like your input on a few things.
Well, let's tentatively set that one for November 18th.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea what general topics?
Gee, we
Just
could
for
That one would be
sanitation.
sanitation.
On the walls.
It's different music so much, but when we ask you.
I don't think, you don't need to be.
Last week, so.
And Tony, I don't know that y'all would need to be here unless you
People,
did.
papers due and presentation.
I might ask, yeah, I might ask Jake, he's been working on some of the
See what
contracts.
Mercy is out there, so
Might-
I can download it and see what you read.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you want to talk about the date as well, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do, putting in trash work session, trash talking.
Carrie's using her middle finger.
So I guess while we're talking about meetings now, so the normal regular scheduled meeting in November would be the 24th. That's the week of Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Will we hold a meeting then?
We,
Folks,
we have
here
done
in town?
both in the past. We have not had a meeting that week, and we've had meetings that week.
It's hard to decide because we have at least 2 new members
Yeah, new
coming
members
Yeah.
coming in.
So
Um,
I always lean towards no unless we
unless we
have
have.
something
Unless we have
serious.
to.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
When do we have to notify or cancel the meeting, Melissa? How long do you
2
think?
weeks.
Just the week before?
We can, yeah, cancel it up to whenever we want to. We just have to call it before, the
Thursday.
20th if we're gonna post an agenda for it. But if we don't have an agenda by the 20th, I can just do the cancellation.
Okay,
So it gives you plenty of time
okay.
to decide.
Yeah, I would wait. If we don't really have any pressing business, we'll just give everybody the week off. And but if we have something that needs to get done, we can
Sure.
go ahead and call a meeting.
So then do you want to look at another date in
Yeah,
December?
let's see if we can. What if we did right at the beginning of December, like December 2nd? Either the 1st or the 2nd of December, Monday night or Tuesday night.
That's fine.
Anyone?
All of it works for me.
Just keep in mind your GMA party is usually that Wednesday,
Yeah, oh yeah, that'll be,
so it's a long week, very quickly, 40 hours.
No better win surprises without us there.
Well,
I thought you
let's-
said you were going to be.
let's talk about, let's tentatively set for December 1st, that Monday night.
And that one's called the what?
The mayor's special call.
The mayor's special, what?
Topic to be determined.
And
House payment.
it's not all day. It's from 6:30 from
I know somebody
Doesn't
else
really
will have a
matter.
chance to win something
Other
without
than-
Gretchen. Without the Schultzes and
no, because
somebody else will win.
Carrie's going to take Kurt and I'm going to take Gretchen, and that way we're guaranteed we'll
Oh,
win
you're guaranteed
something.
prizes, you're
I think
guaranteed
that
baskets.
Register for what's in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get a free meal, but I get the basket if we win.
Oh, I got it, okay.
I heard
Okay.
Sugarville.
Good deal.
Thanks.
I have to post that one early since the week before is Thanksgiving. so
Okay.
just-
All right. What else on projects?
So, just moving on, nothing on zoning guidelines, package sales implementation. Tony, anything you want to give the information or share? Thank you. Briscoe Park, so they'll be pouring the footers this week.
Yes.
Good, which is a big step. You pour the footers and you start to pour the foundation. You pour the foundation over several different pours because there's so much concrete, there, and you inspect each pour separately, so, but they'll be, once they start pouring the footers, getting that tested, and they'll cut loose on all the other big sections that they'll start pouring. They've got all the steel framing for the office piece, not the gym piece, has all been fabricated. That's a big step as well. They delivered it yet. They usually keep that big material stuff off-site, secure off-site, because technically if something happens to it, they're responsible for it, replacing it, that sort of thing. So that's not atypical for folks to keep that off-site locked up. So when the time comes to deliver it and start erecting the steel, they've got all the pieces they need. As you recall, we talked about the financing piece with GMA, where the first step was to get a survey of the property that we would be putting out for public bid, that GMA would then bid on, and would be the owner of the property and its contents. That survey is to be completed this week, and that will be the first step in getting that ball rolling. Then, after that, we'll engage you all in advertising for a public hearing and all that entails. So we'll be looking at probably having you all approve the loan at the December 8th meeting is the goal, there. Now, the closing may take place that next week technically, but you all will have approved it, by the end of this year. And we'll go from there. Use that money to get it built. North in Wisteria, so the sewer has been installed. They just did a air test. County did today to make sure the line is functioning properly. There's a little bit more minor work they have to do on the bank side, so they'll have to remove the septic tank, which what the road contractor will do. It'll take some coordination between the two different contractors when we disconnect the septic tank and connect the sewer line. We want to do that in one fatal swoop.
They're not open on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. So it's going to be either a weekend or an evening job. Good. And really, exactly. Yeah, I think they only have one bathroom, maybe two. It's a pretty small operation as far as bathrooms go. And that takes, disconnecting and connecting is an hour to the max. I mean, it's not a complicated, job there. So a lot of that remains now is some cosmetic stuff, resodding things, getting pine straw back on. There'll be some concrete work where we saw cut through the bank that we'll patch, and then, as part of our agreement with them, we'll patch and seal coat and restripe the parking lot, so you don't see a discoloration and old and new patch down there through them. And then they'll be off to the races, and AT&T and Comcast. AT&T has finished all their cutovers, so what they're doing now is they had to make some changes in the plan. So they abandoned some lines, created some new ones. So now what they're doing is marking which lines are abandoned and which ones are active. So when the road contractor goes through, they hit a line. They know the lines they can disregard, and the lines they can't disregard is really what it is. There. Comcast is going to finish their cutovers this Wednesday and mark where their lines are, and then the road contractor is going to come back in and we think if the weather is good, they can be done with everything within 2 months and get it done. They are starting some grading to install sidewalk and some kind of a new curb cuts and things on some of the properties. They want to start moving a little bit. We've been waiting for the utilities for a couple months now at this point. So they're starting some grading for some curb cuts and some sidewalks on some select properties, hoping that they can get these things located and kind of push that into other parcels down the line. Then just property taxes. So Dove crossover, nothing's changed there. I mean, we're still Q1, for the actual changeover for that. Property taxes, I'll just tell you that the bills went out on Friday, so folks are going to receive them this week. They're
really going.
you know, our new, you can blame the state on that.
I know.
We're a month later than we would be because of everything. So just as a reminder, you know, that will be something that we will, you know, schedule change is permanent for, you know, each property tax cycle. So instead of going out September 15th, they'll go out October 15th or before then and be due January 15th. You know, there's so everything shifts a month, you know, there. But really want to, you know, thank, you know, Melissa, Daniel, Mercy, you know, David, Jason. I mean, all these folks have their hands on this property tax stuff. And it has been a challenge. I mean, you know, House Bill 581 did throw a lot of things on its head, you know, and being able to adjust to that. You know, there's a lot of things that Tyler does well, but there's some things that have to be done by hand still. So, you know, Daniel spent a lot of time building the database for the trash collection, for instance, by hand. I mean, you know, 7,000 properties in an Excel spreadsheet, checking, rechecking, getting with Public Works to make sure the list match with Waste Management, making those changes. So, I mean, just want to have you all know the effort that goes into that. It's several months and it's quite a bit of work. And you know, I know that you know, bragging about getting a tax bill right is not necessarily a great thing because you're paying tax on it. But from a management perspective, I'm very
Getting
proud.
it wrong is really bad.
Exactly. Very proud of all of our team and the effort they put in to getting it right, and adjusting to the you know, schedule that we've had, you know, to adjust to. I think the county has done a great job in getting stuff to us as soon as they could, and have been very communicative throughout their process. And so, you know, sometimes when you have these major shifts, you just don't know what to expect. You don't know how it's going to go. And you know, as confident as I am in our team, you know, I was a little nervous, you know, on some of this stuff because it's just so unknown here, and there'll still be things that we'll be figuring out as we go, you know, longer term impacts of these state bills that will, as we do more property tax years in the future, other things will come up, and so we do appreciate your understanding, your patience on that, and to, you know, take some pressure off us to get this thing done and get it bills out. So that's my report.
Any questions for Matt?
Actually, sorry, one more thing. So the Metro Land Redevelopment Summit is November 6th of this year. I don't know if you all get those emails, but usually, you know, we have some of you attend, DDA members attend. Just let us know. You know, send an email to Mercy or myself and just let us know. November 6th. It's basically, you know, a half a day in the morning. I mean, it's 7 to 1. There, it'll be.
Yeah, they cut it down a little bit. It used to go to like
2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
are we up for any awards? That's our.
No, it is, but no, we're not up this year. So just let us know. November 6th from 7:30 to, it looks like 7:30 to 12:50, and we'll register you.
All right. Discussion about drone delivery programs. I think you all got the email regarding Walmart in Snellville on 124 has approached the city about potentially starting drone deliveries out of that Walmart facility. We just wanted to put this one on the work session agenda so that everyone's aware of what they are proposing. We do know that they've also approached Lilburn and then I guess another store in the county, not in the city.
I think Duluth, and then they approached the county as well. Those ones we know of. We were first. We weren't the first.
So just, you know, from that initial contact, we talked through it, and so thought I mean, there were just a lot of questions, you know, how big are these things, how do they fly, how do they actually deliver the packages and all of that. So Matt and Mercy, and Jason, so Walmart representatives came in and met with them. Do y'all wanna just kind of talk through a little bit about?
Sure. So I'll, Jason, if you don't mind, I'll go over some of their basic stuff and we'll talk about their site plan.
Cool.
So just refer to the presentation. This is kind of a newer initiative that they are piloting. Their main area they've done it is the Dallas-Fort Worth area, DFW area. They've been there for a few months now, testing these out, and they're growing that test market. So the drone itself is pretty good sized drone, not like your personal ones you see people flying in the park or whatever. It'll carry a package. It almost looks like, to me, it's just Matt talking like a purse almost, the way the package is shaped, and it has kind of a loop at the top, right? And then that's where it hooks. It can carry about 2 to 2.5 pounds worth of goods, you know, there. You know, essentially what it does is the drones are regulated by the FAA, so you have to have special credentials to even be in what they call the nest, which is where they house the fenced off area on the property where they house all of these drones and on their pads there. And essentially what they would do is the drones are autonomous, so no one flies them. They put in coordinates to the delivery spot and operate automatically. But they'll kind of raise up and they'll fly to a different part of the parking lot where they can be loaded by a Walmart staff member. And when they fly, they actually go pretty fast, 60, 70 miles an hour. About, I think they said about 150 feet in the air. And the package looks like it's basically attached to the drone. And then when the drone gets to its location, it hovers 20 to 25 feet above the drop-off location. And then a rope that kind of comes down and drops off the package, somehow kind of wiggles, I guess, and kind of unhooks itself, and it retracts back up and flies back to the nest. There is kind of the
So I
way
can get rid of the cat.
the way they explained it to us. They talked about the noise level, not being above normal traffic. I think that they said, as quiet as a lawnmower or a weed eater. Type sound. There.
As quiet as a lawnmower.
That's just what they said. I guess all a matter of perspective, on that. Let's see, anything else as far as operations go? So, Wing is the actual manufacturer of the drones and the operator of the program, that Walmart partners with. So I don't think Walmart is producing the drones or owns the drones. I think they're just partnering with these folks. They only run at night, so they don't run them. Opposite. They only run them during the day, not at night. So they'll adjust those hours, for winter and summer. So obviously in the summer they'll run a little bit longer, in the winter they'll run a bit less amount of time. Basically the nest is a little bit better looking chain link fence with a plastic shed that
Sometimes a container as well.
yeah, a container, and then they don't run power to the actual shed. They just use a generator, kind of a Sunbelt portable generator that keeps all of these things charged and all the pads charged. And that's kind of how the operation looks. Where they're proposing to put these in at the Snellville Walmart would be, I guess it'd be the north and south side of the building. So the area where the main nest would be is the side of the building that is right there on, was that Ridgedale? Right there. And then where kind of employee loading area, what I'm calling it, I guess is is on the opposite side, so where they do the grocery pickup, on that side there, is where the drone would fly overhead and they could hook whatever the product is and it flies out from there. So not, well, very unattractive looking as far as the nest is concerned. I mean, there's no screening there, a plastic shed and chain link fence is not necessarily up to our zoning standards on what we would want to look for in something like this. There isn't anything you want to add?
No, I mean, basically, it's a rudimentary kind of structure that they're using now, and a lot of it is regulated by the FAA as far as wind and all kinds of other stuff, so it's kind of like an ad hoc fence. It looks really bad, so until they can fix that. Yeah, I don't want to sell this. You wouldn't want to see it in the parking lot. We run off people selling cat houses that look better than these things. So it's not something we want in that form. I mean, outside of that, everything else is more just about the drone delivery. They said a rotisserie chicken was like the max for now.
And you can have your rotisserie chicken in 40 seconds or
I
less.
lived through their renovation barely. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have to do anything. Right now, our UDO, our codes would not allow the structure that they're talking about in the parking lot. We, of course, can't regulate the drones in the airspace because we can't regulate that. Thoughts?
And we can't regulate a better fence, because that's.
We should,
certainly can.
that we could, anything on the ground
Right.
and
Okay.
the looks of it.
Yeah,
Because the other thing that I don't like is that they're running a generator
Right, that's
all
what I was gonna
day
say, how
long.
loud is
If
the
they're gonna
generator
do
gonna
that,
be?
they need to run power,
So
if we were to move forward.
That was my next
right
question.
now, if we don't want 70-mile-an-hour lawnmowers flying over Betty Ann's house, we don't have to do anything because under our code, they can't do anything unless they come in and ask for variances, which would be up to whoever's on council at the time, right?
Did they address at all the helicopters that come in?
They did,
from
I
the
was just
hospital?
mentioning that. They said they have to be, they can't be within a certain mileage from the helicopter pads. And I said, well, you guys know, obviously, there's one right across the street. And they're like, oh, we talked with them and worked that out. So whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, but I mean, they have to follow FAA standards
Yeah.
with all of that. So they were aware. I don't know what that means exactly, but they were aware and they had a, yeah, it can't be torpedoing med flights and stuff,
But,
With the rotisserie chickens.
it's, in my view, this is just me speaking. I think this is where things are going in the future.
yeah.
Do I want to be the first around? Not really. I just assume they try it out somewhere else. It'd be interesting to see the effect. To me, residential neighborhood-wise, Woodbury's going to be the one getting most of the drone traffic over it as far as residential neighborhoods. Otherwise, you're talking commercial on 124. I don't know what that looks like all day long, or are they flying up high enough where you're not noticing them or you're not hearing them, or are they?
They have a whole decibel level, part of their presentation about what they have a comparative chart that breaks out at each elevation, what it sounds like, and compares it to all those questions are in there.
Okay.
So if you want to take a look, that was important to them, obviously. They do it the best, they keep it quiet, of course, but they knew that question was coming. And I felt like the information they had was reasonable.
So it's, however you guys, if you don't want to do anything, if you, Walmart has, their representatives have offered to come to a work session and, do the whole dog and pony show presentation. We could just say, no, we're not really interested and hope that they move on along. What do y'all, thoughts? Initial thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm a no.
I would,
It's too much.
if I had any say at this point.
There's too many
with only
uncertainties.
2 meetings left or whatever, I'd say let them try it somewhere else. I don't know, it's just, I don't like the sounds of what it would do to Woodbury or residents along North Road.
Duluth Walmart is far more commercial and not far from the hospital that also has helicopters. They don't have a helipad, Duluth Hospital doesn't, but they do have helicopters
Land there.
that land there sometimes, not nearly as often as Eastside does. But let them try it out first.
I think it's a problem with the whole delivery process. How close do you get to the house? Where do you put it?
That's all on there.
And it's a boom for fees.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I think
that-
there is.
Well, we get the complaints.
well, yeah, we
They
might.
drop in your backyard and your pets in there.
Yeah.
They let your dog.
Then your dog gets it.
Dogs in
Don't drop the chewy package that way.
Who would be responsible if there was an issue, if there was some sort of home damage?
Oh, not us.
I know not us,
Yeah.
but if it's Walmart, that's a lot easier for a
Well,
local
then
resident to
it's-
deal with
it's
than they.
wing.
Right, that's what I'm saying, that's gonna be that much more difficult.
In their videos, it shows that if there's a problem with the drone, it goes off of the roadway and lands on the right of way, basically.
Trucks.
Hopefully not, but
Leaves your rotisserie chicken in the road.
yeah, exactly. There are a couple of things
Not definitely
from what they've proposed, you can tell that this is well, let's try it and see if it works thing. And I don't see allowing a temporary structure that doesn't meet our code.
You'd have to go all in on it.
Right, they either go in all in on it, or they don't come here. And the other thing is drone technology's changing very rapidly, and there's a lot of research in making propellers that are very quiet. And so the industry is going to morph into something that is not gonna sound like a lawnmower going 70 miles an hour, 150 feet above your house, into something that's very quiet. So I am all for letting somebody else. Oh, there were also reports from Texas of some suburbs, not Dallas-Fort Worth, where they used bigger drones, and there were a lot of complaints. They made it on television about sound. But then again, you're talking about rural Texas, so the noise level's different. But I'm all for let somebody else figure it out, and then they can come here and build something nice on top of their building, so it doesn't interfere with everybody's life, and when they're ready, make it permanent.
I think that's a consensus on that. So, but there was, I don't know if you saw it, but there's an email Matt had sent with. Okay. Next, item C, discussion about property maintenance ordinance amendment.
Put it on the agenda because we've been having some issues with our first large Class A apartment complex and complaints from residents about a couple of things. Also, our chief code enforcement officer had brought it up, I think, the last 2 years at our work retreat. And so I just sent everybody a copy of what Gwinnett County adopted, which in conversation with the city attorney and the planning director has some issues. So I would say, since we're nearing the end of the 2021 terms, we should probably let staff do more research, unless Johnny wants to give us an update before we punt. No? All right. So I would say let staff do more research on it, and let's wait until certainty on moving forward.
We did, in our discussions though, we did identify, the heart of a couple of some of the main issues that we'd like to try to attack. And through the discussion, it looks like there are some other avenues that we could go. That this ordinance doesn't really do those things for us, so I'll be happy to talk to everybody about that. But, so I think we do a little more work and know what our plan forward is and see if we can.
Just not worth spending a half hour going over it to get nowhere.
So there'll be more discussion on this soon. Update from the Town Green Revitalization Committee.
I hope we have enough time, this will take about 45 minutes.
We have 5.
Over the past few weeks, we've accomplished a lot over there, thanks to Public Works Director David Mitchell and Mayor Pro Tem Todd Warren. This included some sod replacement, additional irrigation, and those heavy-duty plywood planks placed at the Town Green entranceway to lessen the damage by vehicle traffic during special events. The committee put our heads together and proposed the following: a 40-foot by 20-foot test area at the entrance. It will be dug out and provided with a base of granite sand with plastic matrix. This will be topped off with soil inside approximately 4 to 5 inches thick. Also, a 20 by 16 area adjacent to the entranceway that is heavily impacted by foot and vehicle traffic. Director of Public Works David Mitchell can provide a more detailed report. We estimate the cost to be about $25,000. A more accurate cost will be submitted to the city manager. That's it. Meanwhile, the Public Works Department will continue to perform maintenance work on the town green so that we don't lose what we have. Our goal is to have the town green completely usable by May 2026 or June 1st at the latest, depending on sod availability. That would be it.
Yeah, and we didn't feel it was appropriate for us to get firm pricing because it's probably going to have, it may have to go through the bid process, but that isn't something that we needed to do. We probably turn that down.
Right, that would need to be a staff-driven thing, and then budget would be the other thing.
Right.
How to pay for this, and then with what's being proposed, is there any other places that system's been installed that has been where it's got a track record?
There's a great variability in the product, and most of what's out in the field is either David found some places that have an expandable mesh that doesn't actually use the material that you put down so much to divert the load. It just holds the material in place so it doesn't move. So compaction is only vertical and doesn't go out horizontal. And then most of what's been installed locally is the 1-inch thick grid system, and that doesn't have enough base and structure in order to compare apples to apples. From what our research showed is it has to be at least 2 inches thick in order to actually distribute the load and protect the root system.
All right, well, we can, if you want to, I guess we'll talk about that with David and figure out feasibility and budget and all that. We'll go forward. Thank you for the work of the team. All right, so that ends our regular business on the work session agenda. We do have a short executive session needed. During the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Bender announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and asked